that my signs, many of them, have been picked off, and they are still being picked off wherever I put them. And I'm being told that some code enforcement has, but oops, we shouldn't have taken them. Really? Then why did you not, after you took them, contact me and put them back, or let me know that you had them? One was delivered through my gate the other day, because they admitted they'd taken it out of Mid Valley Community Center. I had put them in not the community center property, but there is a trail outside, and I put it by the trail. That's public property as far as it's been defined to me. Then at Highway 74, Meadowbrook Road, inside Lake Elsinore, the only one they haven't taken is right outside the window across the street from the sheriff's station in Mid Valley. It's still there, okay? The others have all been picked up and gotten rid of. And that is very mysterious because of other harassments that I've had since I filed for running for county supervisor in District 1. It's not amusing to me. It's very bothersome, particularly since we had today the points that build character. What good is it to just encourage children to build character when we as adults and as officers, elected officers, particularly with the public trust, cannot exercise character? Thank you. I received very little information last year when I asked for data, statistical data of how we were peddling, particularly in the county, which was my greatest concern then, and is still the greatest concern. Now I've spent over 2 weeks trying to contact the contract department. They only got one lady who's a manager, but nobody in the department seemed to be able to look into the type of grant I'm asking for data on. And here it goes. There's a federal grant, evidently, that I've been very little aware of, that can put deputies on the unincorporated streets. I've been told it's called COPD, but of course that's confusing with my medical term COPD, right? Maybe it has to do with deputy breathing and my breathing, I don't know, okay. But you can help me. I'm looking for a federal grant that evidently we and the Sheriff's Department can apply for maybe once a year, maybe several times a year, to add to the already decreased number of deputies that are in their cars or in their not bicycles. I wish we had them, by the way. I might as well put in a bid for that. But do you know what I'm talking about, COPD? Because our deputies do need help. And we need to be more. I don't want to wait 5 hours for a deputy to respond to my house. One of the functions of deputies is to arrive early so they can see what it is we are calling about. If we do not have somebody who can witness it, they're just going to tell me that what they always say, ma'am, we didn't see it, therefore we cannot take any report. It seems like I came back to talk to you guys and at this podium at the right time, because both Office of Aging, where I've tried to institute some changes, have been here today, and also the improvement of all of our characters, not just for the youth, but for all of us. Anyway, the Office of Aging has a new director. So far I've been very pleased with her. I was not pleased with the former director, as you well know. Our lunches have improved. Of course, now we've got the Colorado River coming in. There was a bid by a former owner of the land when it was all agriculture, pre-Lake Matthews. For him, he actually wanted to pay for it mostly himself. He wanted 3 little reservoirs or lakes strung together where now Lake Matthews is, and Riverside turned him down. The reason he did that was that he was in partnership with a lot of people that love to grow plants. Mr. Burbank was one of them. Mr. Burbank used to come up there, and they collaborated on different kinds of citrus and plants. And I don't think the potato was in the basket at the time for them to consider, but they had a cactus farm, all kinds of cacti.
Britt, now your time has expired.
So I would like you to honor the ground there. I don't want the traffic is horrible even now. Thank you. But I would urge you to invite the Department of Agriculture. I know they're supposed to be speaking for the state, but I also would like them to educate us, because they are in our basement, right? They have an office in our basement. And I've gone down there many times asking them to serve an educated function for all of us, you and me and the audience. If we do not understand the benefits and the destructive aspects of insects, then we might as well fold it up. We had one person, I'm going to transition to bees right now, we're not through with them. And again, we have fewer and fewer. Bumblebees are gone, regular bees are going, the orchards next to me, hardly see them. We have a little bee that's 3/4 size of the regular bee visiting now. I call it the love bee. It bites nobody, it hurts nobody. I don't know actually what it does, but we got to learn more about it. I encourage the agriculture to get together with UCR and maybe have a special session on insects for us and what good they do. Or else I got to do something else with the state so they come down here and do the education function. Thank you. And by the way, there's a new benefit for bees. Somebody's tried for years now to use mushrooms, yes, mushrooms, to give them to bees to reduce the beehive collapse disease. And it is working, slowly, but it is working. I would like all of us to learn about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right of Lake Matthews, okay?
And this is El Sobrante, that you would think would go by the El Sobrante landfill, but that is Dawson, and it's on off the I-15.
Okay, this is in the south end of Lake Matthews. The guy who owned all of this before petitioned Riverside many years ago to have this stay the way it was and add 3 little puddles of water, okay? And then he was going to water his land, which is very fertile, for his cactus farm, experimental farm, and orange orchards, citrus orchards, which he had help with from Burbank. You know who Burbank was, right? They were not growing potatoes here at the time, but they were doing citrus experiments and cactus experiments. Now we're going to go west on El Sobrante until we meet up with Lake Matthews. This used to be orange, first cactus and then orange orchards. And then some of the orchards die already. This is very rich soil. They should leave that alone.
Soils report.
Yeah.
But it should be zoned agricultural.
Yeah.
Actually, this total I will not bail out and compromise. Rural open space only. Unbelievable scenic value.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, this is Lake Matthews, and it is.
You should come here at sunset and sunup. Your tongue would be hanging out. That's how gorgeous it is.
So they could put housing on this side.
Now that's
This is supposed to be very protected water from a natural lake. So
The guy who owned it.
Matthews Lake was agricultural
No. There was
land.
no Lake Matthews. Matthews comes from the engineer that finally put in Lake Matthews, okay? Years after the original guy owned it, okay? And,
So it was just a very flat valley,
well, it was, like this, like what you see now.
undulated.
Yeah, and he knew there was water under the surface. So he was begging and petitioning Riverside to allow him and help him put in 3 little ponds, right, in a series to keep the water there, right? And some of the water was coming in from Colorado River, some of it was naturally here, and River said, heck no, we don't want any part of that. So what he continued doing is Burbank, the plant, specialist. Burbank came from what? Pasadena, where he was growing plants. Came over here to his buddy, right? And together they did citrus experimentation, they did cactus experimentation, and other plants experimentation. As soon as the owner here died, guess what Riverside says? Oh, we're going to do it now. We said no to you before, but that was a good idea. So we're going to dig for a big pond, and they didn't have a name for it.
As soon as he was gone,
Yeah.
they
Started
said
digging.
it was their idea.
Yes. And this is going to be a water pond that nobody except us, the fisheries, have a right to get into. And we're going to stock it in the years with fish. So we're going to come once or twice or 3 times a year to scoop up fish. We're going to fly them to the upper reaches of California or sell them to other counties to put them in their rivers so they can go fishing with them. So if this breaks here, all this water comes out here.
Wow.
So the engineer, Matthews, designed this, or at least finished this. I never knew him.
Well, we're right next to what appears to have an odor of a dairy farm. That's really close to a water reserve.
There's nothing but orange orchards here. No houses. No houses.
If that wall breaks, all these houses will go underwater.
You better learn how to swim. This is a huge wall. Right? It's a huge wall.
Full of water.
Down there is Panama.
This is fed with the Colorado River. There was water under the land, they
Yes.
knew that, for special techniques
Yeah.
to measure the water.
But they also did irrigation.
But they tapped through an aqueduct the Colorado River,
Yes, they did.
and they still do it.
Yeah.
Well, I think they should leave the water in the Colorado
See that
River.
course?
Britt says none of these islands that we see here would be here if it weren't this drought
Yeah, they wouldn't be sticking up.
and this evaporation of water back into the heavens and not blessing us with rain. This island would not be here. It would be underwater. That means Lake Matthews is 20 feet down. So that's a sad predicament California's in with this drought. And supervisors don't see that the more they build, the more drought. The more cars, the more oil heating the air from combustion engines. And the less rain. Too much heat pouring out of California. Lots of concrete here, too. So, what is before us?
Straight ahead, you got Gavilan Hills. To the left, you